Okay, everyone, this is going to be a quick guide to retiming the world runs for Zack and Wiki for all the mods. Hard just brought to my attention that there's actually not much consistency or, any clear rules as to how we should retime these runs, what start and end frames are. So I'm going to make a quick tutorial showing the starting and end frames for all the worlds and how to retime them the best possible way. So Hard just is happy to give links to download this retiming tool. It's very useful. Download a zip folder, extract it, open it, and you'll get this. So we're going to use Desert Junior's recent Jungle Ruins current world record as an example. So first you need to get the video FPS to fill in this value. Now the general rule of thumb is when you go into the resolutions, so when retiming you want to set it to the highest resolution. Now if it doesn't have any FPS value, it'll typically be 30 frames, and if it says, for example, 720p 60 FPS or 1080p 60 FPS, then it'll be 60 FPS. So it's usually those two. If you so for example, the 1080p ones would look a little bit like this. If I open up, for example, I guess Bridge of Doom will work. If it says 1080p 60, it's 60 FPS. If not, most of them will be 30. But anyways, going back to this, if you want to make absolutely sure, you can always right click the video and go stats for nerds, and it'll tell you the FPS right there. So as we know, our video is 30 FPS, so we put that in. Next we need the start and end frame. So to get that, so you can actually move, so using the arrow keys moves the video back and forth 5 seconds. If you want to move by the individual frame though, you can use the comma and full stop or period keys, and that moves it by individual frames. So anyways, you want to get the starting frame first. Okay, makes a little mistake here, so we'll skip forward. So all the worlds have the exact same starting frame, and that is as we're playing. So he will, okay, he's going to reset his splits first in this video. Hang on, okay. So, playing forward frame by frame. So the first frame the pointer disappears is the starting frame. You can go back and forth. So as soon as the pointer disappears, that is your starting frame. When you have your starting frame, right click the video, copy debug info, and then you paste that in your start frame. Next you need your end frame. Now it differs from world to world. Most worlds will have the same end frame, with the exception of Eastern Seas. So we'll skip towards the end of the run. So here we are, and we'll play it forward, frame by frame. So you want to look at the top and bottom. In this case, his bottom is covered by splits, so we'll look at the top. And as you see right there, so the frame the top part starts to move in is the end frame, because that is technically when you lose control and the cutscene begins. So that first frame it moves in is your end frame. Copy debug info, paste that in there, and you get your proper time, 14:48. Now this was actually submitted as a 14:49, so as you can see, retiming can be useful. It gets it pretty much perfect. So this should apply to all runs, except for Eastern Seas. So for example, if we go to World Run, so Frozen Temple ends in a chest, and so does Barbaros Castle. Actually, no, Barbaros Castle doesn't. So these two end in chests. Western Volcano includes the airship. So if we go to this one, again, we'll open up in YouTube. The end frame of this will actually be a little bit different. So again, we go to the beginning. We'll get our starting frame. Okay, so this one is actually in 720p, and if we copy, no, if we open up, oh, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. If we open up stats for nerds, it is still at 30 FPS, so that remains the same. So minimize that so we can see what's happening. So we're waiting, okay, he misses it. So we're waiting for that pointer to disappear. This is actually very clunky. Probably should have reviewed these first. Are you going to go into the world or not? Okay. Yeah, so that's it. That's your starting frame. Copy the debug info, paste that in. Then we want to go all the way to the end frame. Now this one ends actually with the plane. So you actually lose control as soon as you pull this lever. Now we're going to look at what the actual end frame is. So as you soon as the lever starts to get pulled is when you lose control actually. So as you can see, it already starts before the man even gets there. See, he's out immediately. So don't bother with the man or the UI. As soon as this bar goes down, that is your end frame there technically, because the lever pull is very fast. That stuff takes a while to move into motion. As soon as the lever starts its motion, you've lost control. The thing finishes, the cutscene plays. So that's an end frame, because then as you can see, it closes all the way out. Actually, hang on, it stays like this for a bit. Okay. So that's actually going to be our, whoops. Hang on. All right, we'll let this play normally. Okay, I reckon we will make it so it goes in once. And then as soon as this sort of inner one goes in, that'll be the end frame for that. So that's end frame, copy debug info, paste that in. So 2913 actually. So this run needs to be retimed to 2913. So we edit that and that's done. So you see that actually affected it quite a bit because of the plane retiming. So there we are. That's good now. The last type of run in question, oh, actually no, there's two more. So we have Barbaros Castle. We go to this one. I won't do this whole starting frame thing again, but we will clarify the end frame. So this one would be, again, as soon as you lose control here. Okay, so here is when we get close to the cutscene. All right, we'll play it back. Okay, so this one, the black part, is a little bit hard to see. So I recommend you look at parts like this, where you can clearly see it cut off. And you go... Okay, so that one cuts immediately. That is the end frame then, as soon as that happens. So that would be an end frame that you would then paste into there. That's Barbaros Castle. The final one is Eastern Seas. Now this one has the same end frame as any %, but you know, for the sake of it, seeing as they have done all the others, we may as well finish it off properly. So this one we go to the end, and we'll find the exact frame that this should end on. Right, a little bit further ahead. We'll mute this. Okay, so yeah, a little bit laggy. This one's at 60 FPS, so you would have to change that value. Okay, so shaking the bell. All right, so shaking the bell, looking at the black part at the top. So that part here is where it ends when the black bar comes in. As you can see with 60 FPS, the frames do duplicate. So that is the end frame there. And hopefully that should clarify the starting and end frames for all the world runs, so we have consistent retiming. If you don't have this tool, there might be some other ones, but I highly recommend it. You can ask either me or Hydras for the link if you don't already have it. It's a very useful tool and easy to use once you figure it out. And yep, hopefully this has helped everyone on the Zack and Wiki moderating team to consistently retime the world runs. Thank you for listening.